The distress beacon had been silent for 3 cycles when Ilara's salvage vessel, the Wandering Star, picked up its faint pulse from the debris field of what had once been a Vrexian colony ship. Most scavengers would have ignored it. Vrexian tech was worthless, their species classified as Class 7 apex predators, and their remains were best left undisturbed. But Ilara wasn't most scavengers. She was human, and humans had a reputation for being foolishly curious. The airlock hissed open to reveal a scene of devastation. Hull breaches had torn through the vessel, like claws through paper. Bodies, massive, scaled creatures with razor-sharp talons and rows of serrated teeth, floated in the zero gravity, frozen in their final moments of terror. Whatever had attacked them had been thorough and merciless. Ilara moved through the corridors with practiced ease, her magnetic boots clicking against the metal floor. The distress beacon led her deeper into the ship, past shattered viewports and sparking conduits, until she reached what appeared to be a nursery section. The door was sealed, its emergency protocols still functioning despite the carnage outside. She hesitated. Every instinct screamed at her to turn back. The Vrexians were feared across 36 systems. Massive predators who hunted in packs and showed no mercy to lesser species. Their young were said to be born with killing instincts already honed. But that beacon was coming from inside, and it was weak, fading. Ilara overrode the lock. The chamber beyond was small, temperature-controlled, and miraculously intact. In the center, huddled in a nest of thermal blankets, were 2 Vrexian cubs. They couldn't have been more than a few weeks old, their scales still soft and their eyes barely open. They looked up at her with a mixture of fear and desperate hope. The larger one, its scales a deep bronze color, hissed weakly. The smaller one, barely half the size with silver-tipped scales, simply stared. "Well," Ilara muttered, "this complicates things. She should have left them. By every law of the Galactic Council, by every rule of common sense, she should have sealed that door and walked away." Vrexians grew up to be killers. They were biologically engineered for violence, their society built on conquest and domination. But as she looked at those 2 cubs, shivering and alone, all she could see were children. The larger cub took a tentative step forward. Its mouth opened, revealing tiny, needle-sharp teeth. But no sound came out at first. Then, in a voice barely above a whisper, it asked in broken standard, "Are you our mother?" Ilara felt something crack in her chest. She knelt down, making herself smaller, less threatening. "Near enough," she replied softly. That was how Ilara became the most unlikely guardian in the known galaxy. She named them Tiv, the brave, bronze-scaled one who had spoken first, and Sek, the smaller silver-tipped cub who preferred to observe before acting. For the first few weeks, she kept them hidden in the cargo bay, feeding them nutrient paste and wondering if she'd lost her mind. The Galactic Council would have her license revoked if they knew. Worse, other Vrexians would likely kill her on sight for stealing their young. But as the days turned into months, something remarkable happened. Tiv and Sek didn't grow into the monsters everyone feared. They grew into children. Yes, they had claws and teeth. Yes, they were stronger and faster than most species, but they also laughed at Ilara's terrible jokes, helped her repair equipment with surprising dexterity, and curled up next to her during sleep cycles. Their soft purring filling the silence of space. Tiv was bold and curious, constantly asking questions about everything from quantum mechanics to why humans needed to eat so often. Sek was quieter but observant, often anticipating problems before they arose and finding elegant solutions that left Ilara impressed. The turning point came during a supply run to a trading outpost on the edge of Consortium space. Ilara had left the cubs on the ship too dangerous to bring them into public. But 3 Kravex pirates had other ideas. They'd tracked the Wandering Star, intending to steal her cargo and ship. They hadn't counted on Tiv and Sek. When Ilara returned, she found the pirates tied up with cargo netting, their weapons dismantled and neatly stacked. Tiv stood guard, trying to look fierce despite being barely waist-high to the terrified Kravex. Sek sat nearby, having apparently jury-rigged a functioning stasis field from spare parts. "We protected home," Tiv said proudly. "Like you protect us." Alara looked at her unlikely children, then at the pirates, then back again. She started laughing deep, cathartic laughter that echoed through the cargo bay. Word spread, as it always did in space. The human woman traveling with Vrexian cubs. Some called her crazy. Others called her dangerous. But those who met Tiv and Sek came away changed. These weren't the mindless predators of legend. They were children raised with kindness, taught that strength could be used for protection, rather than domination. Years passed. Tiv and Sek grew larger, more formidable, their predatory instincts sharp and deadly when needed. But they also grew wiser, carrying with them the lessons their human mother had taught them, that survival didn't require cruelty, that being strong meant protecting the weak, that family wasn't defined by species, but by choice. One evening, as the wandering star drifted through a nebula of electric blue and violet, Tiv sat beside Alara in the cockpit. They were nearly full-grown now, towering over her, capable of tearing through reinforced steel with their bare claws. "Do you ever regret it?" Tiv asked quietly. "Taking us in? We've made your life more difficult." Alara smiled, reaching up to pat the massive scaled head that lowered to meet her hand. "You've made my life more interesting," she corrected, "and more meaningful. You two are the best thing that ever happened to me." Sek appeared in the doorway, carrying 3 cups of the terrible synthetic coffee Alara loved. "Family meeting?" they asked. Their standard, now flawless. "Always," Alara replied, as they sat together, watching the stars wheel by. Alara reflected on that moment in the derelict ship when a frightened cub had asked if she was their mother. She'd said near enough, because she hadn't known what else to say, hadn't known if she could be what they needed. But looking at them now strong, compassionate, fierce when necessary, but gentle when possible, she realized she'd given them something the Vrexian Empire never could, a choice in who they would become, and they'd given her something just as precious. Proof that love and kindness could bridge any divide, even between species separated by biology and history. That was humanity's true strength, Alara thought. Not their adaptability, or their stubbornness, or their unpredictable nature, though those helped. It was their ability to see beyond what something was designed to be and nurture what it could choose to become. That was enough. More than enough.